So, DoorDash just partnered with Klarna, which means that finally you can order a Chipotle burrito and pay for it in 4 easy installments. So, people are talking about this for a lot of reasons. One, because it's dumb. Two, people are like worried about this, maybe this is a recession sign or something. I'm not going to talk about that. And I know a lot of you watching are probably never going to finance a Baconator using DoorDash. But I still want to talk about it because I feel like this move is indicative of something much bigger that we would all do well to recognize and resist. And I'm going to do something I haven't really done on this channel. I'm just going to do this as one pretty much unedited take. I might edit some clips in here and there. I might cut a couple of my very long sighs into the microphone, but I just want to kind of talk to you about where my head is at with this. So I'm Ben. This is Sketchy Advice, money advice that actually flipping works. I'm getting better at that. And I don't know how much advice this is going to be. It's more just going to be thoughts. So let's talk about this. When I heard this news, the very first thing I thought about was this old Visa commercial from, I think, like the early aughts, or like the naughty aughties, as we all call it, where there's a bunch of people going through a shopping mall and they're all like getting their smoothies and their sandwiches or whatever. And everybody's going through this kind of like almost conga line of consumerism, and everybody's super jazzed, even though like if you change the color grading on that clip, it looks like something from an episode of Severance. And then this one guy has the audacity, has the gall to pull out some stinky, wrinkly cash money and pay for his sandwich. And it like ruins society for 5 seconds. Like the cashier looks at him like he just tried to order her dog off the menu. And he gets his dumb lunch and he walks out, and then everything starts back up again and people are swiping their visas. And it had one of the single, just dumbest taglines I've ever seen in a commercial.
Because money shouldn't slow you down. Life takes faster money.
What? Don't let money slow you down? Like, I get it. Like, they're probably saying like, oh, having cash and not having to like count things out and get change, like it's faster to just swipe a card, which I think is debatable. But like, don't let money slow you down. Why? Like, where are you trying to get to so fast that you can't have money slowing you down? And it seems like since I've been alive, there has been this rush within the world of companies and businesses to make the gap between wanting something and putting money down on that thing, making that gap like this big, which, probably obvious why, like people, the less time they have to think about a purchase, the more they just like are in the moment of like, oh, I want it. That would be so cool. And then pushing a button, the more likely they are to buy the thing, right? Like Amazon had the one-click order button, which was like, wow, that's so fast and easy. And then they started selling like physical buttons. Do you remember this? Where it was like, oh, I ran out of paper towels. Boop. And you push a button and that puts in an Amazon order. Something that I'm sure no toddler anywhere completely abused. I know that I've had to change the settings on my Echo Dot because my 3-year-old son keeps accidentally trying to order a bunch of things without really even meaning to. And, so, we're trying to keep this gap as small as possible. But of course, the biggest thing that keeps people from buying a thing typically is, oh, I can't afford it. And so we have, like credit cards and stuff like that have come in. But my generation and the generation below me, we saw the generation above us really struggle with consumer debt and credit cards because that generation was kind of dealing with a mostly new thing that they weren't super well educated about because it was brand new. We were much more likely to get the message of like, oh, credit card debt is bad. So then along comes Afterpay and Klarna and all these things. And they take that price and they squish it down to something small.
If you could eat the whole tub of ice cream and spread the calories over 6 weeks.
So that you turn off another thing that might make you pause and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. And there's some statistic, I think, that like 47% of Gen Z is using some kind of buy now, pay later right now. I'll double check that stat. I'll have an edit in here somewhere. And it's just like, there's a cultivation right now of this mindset, of this culture, of this habit that if you want something, you should just get it. And if you want something right now, that is the truest feeling that you have, right? Even though we know that's not true, even though all of us have experienced wanting something really badly in the moment, and then the next day or the next week or immediately after we bought it going, oh, I don't actually want this shirt. It doesn't look good on me. Or I don't actually know if I need this crazy gadget because I've used it twice and never touched it again. And like what kills me is that like Klarna and Afterpay, they talk to us like they're serving us. Like, oh, it's so much more secure and it's easy and there's no interest and blah, blah, blah. And then if you click over to the For Business page on their website, the things that they'll tell you is like, oh, people who use our product, they spend more money on more things more frequently. And like, listen, I'm not getting down on people for spending money. I am all for spend money on the things you enjoy. I just also want you to like be okay while doing that. And to make sure that you're actually spending money on things you enjoy, not things that you've been kind of bamboozled into thinking you might enjoy, or like just kind of like taking a risk on because it was there and it's so cheap, I might as well just get it. And like now, you know, it's one thing when it's like, oh, you can, you know, finance a pair of jeans, you know, because like jeans can be expensive. But like now it's like food. And I get it. Like DoorDash isn't just doing, you know, fast food now. You know, they're also doing groceries. But now it's like, oh, hey, you can finance your groceries. Hey, Klarna, DoorDash, who wants this? Who's asking for this? Right? I get that it makes you money. I get that it makes you profits. But like, nobody wants this. Nobody wants to put their groceries or their McDonald's on a payment plan, right? What people want is to be able to spend money without stress, to be able to get Chinese without feeling stressed out or timing it to a paycheck or breaking it down. That's what people want. And some people don't have that because they're, you know, they're having a hard time with money right now, or they're between jobs or whatever. Like, listen to me. I get it. Like, the economy is rough right now. The housing market sucks. The corporate greed is rampant. It is expensive to be poor. Wages have lagged behind prices. I get it. Like, I live in Kansas, one of the most affordable states in the union, and I feel this, okay? It's rough out there. And like, if you've used debt to solve a problem, I'm not here to shame you for that. Like, I get it. Sometimes stuff happens, something breaks, you need to go to the hospital, whatever. You don't have the cash to pay for it. You don't have the support that you might need, and you wind up going to debt. And it's like, hey, you know what? That's a lot better than a lot of the alternatives. Sometimes you're desperate and you need a boost. Just like if you're a wolf in a trap, sometimes it makes sense to gnaw off your leg. Sometimes it makes sense to do something desperate in a desperate situation. But we've got to stop normalizing this. Because Klarna is offering a solution to this problem, but it's a false solution. It's like if you came to me and you were like, oh man, I haven't slept in like 5 days. I'm so tired. And I was like, oh, here you go. Take a 5-hour energy. And then in 5 hours, take another 5-hour energy. And then if you keep, it's like, no, that's not the solution. That makes it worse, actually. Sebastian, people feel like they are trapped financially. People feel like they're stuck in a wolf trap, and you're giving them wolf trap ibuprofen. That's your solution. You can have that one, Silicon Valley. You can have that for free. Is that tech bro enough for you? And the thing is, it's everywhere. This is happening everywhere. Like, it used to be you could only finance cars and couches and houses and stuff like that. And now you can finance your clothes, your hobbies, your groceries, like anything. And it's pitched to us as if like this is helping you. No, the help I need is to have enough money to live. That's what I need. But businesses need a way for us to keep spending money. So if they just keep breaking it down into tiny little pills, then we'll keep swallowing it. And listen, like a lot of things need to change. I would love to think that if we all just like had a good work ethic and had the right mindset, that we could all just be super successful. And that's just not true. There are big changes that probably need to happen that are way beyond me, just like a guy on the internet that I could like even begin to lay out. But one way that we resist, one way that we don't feed into this world that like, you know, I have 2 little kids, you know, how far is this going to go by the time they're like in the world spending money as adults? When I think about like, how do I prepare Knox or Lachlan for this who knows what's coming world, I just think about taking that tiny gap where the companies out there just want that to be like the smoothest transition ever, just broadening that. Because in this space is where your agency, your values, your priorities, the things that you care about, that's where they show up. Companies are like, you think it's all over here, and then over here is how you fulfill it. But no, this is it. Like being able to step back, look at everything all together. This gap is where the magic happens. And this is the gap they are desperately trying to get rid of because they want as many people as possible to buy whatever they're selling. So shrink it down. But you don't have to be that way. You can be a person of the gap. And that's I mean, honestly, in some ways, that's just what I'm all about here on the YNAB team, here on this channel, is helping you to strengthen this gap, to navigate it well. If you're someone who is looking for guidance on how to do that, I would really recommend this video over here, the most important money video you'll ever watch. That's the title I gave it because of this very reason. Because I think if you have just a handful of questions and you build a habit of asking those questions when you get money, when you spend money, then you are able to strengthen this gap. And when you strengthen this gap, your spending starts to look a lot more like you. You get to spend more of it on the things, the people, the causes, the experiences that you care about, and not what DoorDash cares about. So if you want to do that, you can do that. If you want more insight into how you can navigate money, how your brain works, you can subscribe here on the YNAB YouTube channel. And here's my encouragement to you. Next time you spend money, whether it's on a payment plan for Qdoba or groceries or whatever it is, whatever you're going to spend money on next, just see what you can do to broaden that gap just a little bit more. Because if we can do this, if we can teach our friends, our kids, our communities to do this, then maybe we won't have to take so much wolf trap ibuprofen. Bye.